Alright, is this thing on? Check. 1, 2, check 1, 2. Hey, this is Dave. This is What's Up Dave, my daily weekday stream where I catch up with my friends on the internet, let them know what's going on with me, and sharing anything I've heard from them. I haven't heard anything from them, so nothing to share from them. Although I did read about an upcoming New Hampshire Codes meetup that I read on the Women's in Tech Facebook group. Let's just take a look at that. Let me pull it up over here. In other news, Dad is visiting. And see. And so he arrived late on Saturday night, early Sunday morning basically. Got him settled in. Today is the second day of his visit. He's not too badly jet lagged. If anything, I'm more out of sync than he is because of my weird sleeping schedule. But just anyway, this is a code for New Hampshire group, and I'm not sure what it is. It's an organization where people in all roles, coders, designers, planners, marketers, and government officials can get together to build stuff that benefits their community. So that sounds interesting. I might check that out. So let's see. What am I going to talk about today? Dad's asleep. So, oh, it looks like a dad pictures. And I can tell some stories that have gone along with that. So go back to screen mode. So here's Lightroom. Let's see. This is from, oops, that's strange. I just remember what elevator I was at. So here's Dad, fresh off his flight at Boston Logan. Looking pretty hale for 89 years old. This is at Hannaford, the local supermarket. He has a cane that he walks with, so I let him push the cart so he didn't have to use the cane. Here's a nice pumpkin, an acorn squash, actually, he found that he was very taken with, and I think he's going to cook it. I have no idea how to cook an acorn squash. I was wondering if it was the same thing as a Japanese kombachu pumpkin. It looks kind of similar to it, but I don't know if it's the same thing. And then that's the other. This is a picture of him. He was practicing the cello in his room, the master bedroom, which I spent all this time cleaning up. It looks pretty good, actually. Need some art on the wall and maybe some paint. This is something I saw at Staples. There was like, I was having difficulty with it. This is Star Wars copy paper. You get a whole case of it for $50, $5.99. And as far as I can tell, it just has a big picture of the classic Star Wars artwork on the side. I have no idea what's on the inside. It seems kind of odd. Here's Dad using his iPhone 5S, which is my old iPhone 5S. That's not my actual high school computer in the background, but I've been trying to get him to use the iPhone to send things back and forth. So he has a challenge to send me a picture every day, and then also send it back to relatives in Taiwan. This is the first meal I made for him. He's been willing to try my bachelor chow, which is essentially like lean protein, peas. There's some pork over here, black beans, and some vegetable of my choice. This is yu choy, a kind of Chinese vegetable, which apparently I didn't cook right. I should have cut these stems much smaller, but I left them all long like they were noodles. And there he is, seeming pretty pleased. We're out of tissue paper, so I just gave him a whole roll of toilet paper. These are pineapple cakes he brought back from Taiwan. The pineapple cake industry in Taiwan is very much of a gift-giving industry. So you get these fancy pineapple cakes, and they're essentially like, I'll have a picture of them soon. They're essentially little shortbread cakes with pineapple filling, you could say. They're really tasty. Taiwan is kind of famous for them in the area. So he went to a special bakery to get these. The bakeries in Taiwan are getting super fancy. This is them just getting in the car. We're just going, We're just going to the supermarket to get stuff. So those are all really the pictures for today. I'll try to get some more shots of it. The ones I like the best are probably the cello one. People seem to like that one a lot. I am personally amused by the pumpkin one, and so only me and my sister seem to like that one, though. They're just looking at it like this pumpkin has so much potential. What could we do with this pumpkin to make it delicious? But that's what's going through my head, anyway. So, okay, what else is going on? Let me just make sure the stream is working. I always get nervous about this thing because I'm not actively monitoring it. I think it sounds like Dad's taking a shower. Okay, yes, it's working. That's good. So, what else is going on? I'm going to talk about... Oh, yes, the house cleaning progress. Well, let's take a look, why don't we? Let me switch over to NDI chat mode, which is the iPhone on the remote IP camera view. So we can let's point it at things. This is the... Oops, I'm pulling it upside down. Up, up, up. Oh, you don't want to be on camera? No? No? So how are things looking here? If you recall from previous entries in the What's Up Dave franchise, that used to be a huge mess, which it still is, but it's different now. There used to be a pile of dead stock here. I've been boxing everything up in these boxes, which the printer was kind of to sell to me. These are the boxes he uses to ship, but they double box for extra protection. These are imperfect ones. So this is stock I had returned from the Amazon warehouse, and a good, I'll say 20% of them were damaged. So these have become, and these are unsellable by me now. So I might sell a grab back of slightly imperfect B stock. This is a bunch of like ETP 50 notebooks that I have in stock. So I'm going to try to resurrect the Shopify store and like maybe do international fulfillment again. So this table is slowly being cleared of junk. Oh, this is some stuff that my dad brought back for my sister. Or rather, I brought this back for my sister last time I was in town, but forgot to give it to her. So he's going to get another chance to give it to her in person. And I asked for some desktop art, and this is not quite what I was expecting. I asked for something small for the desk, and this is something he just had lying around the house that someone had given him. So I don't know what it is. This looks like the sort of thing that would be you would give to someone. It's like a house troll. Is there any markings on the back? I don't see it. So he doesn't even know where it came from. He thinks like a relative had like a friend who made these and he got one of these. And the wood itself though is very interesting. It's a very hard kind of wood, carved wood. It's impressively hard. But I don't know. That's the sort of thing I might have to put somewhere and scare people with. I'm a little terrified of it. There's some more stock down here. These is remnants. Most of these are good. So, but then I have made this whole new stocking area. If you were watching like a few days ago and you saw what was down here, this might not look that much different to you, but it's actually an improvement because it can move around. So that giant pile of stuff is still there. But the futon that used to be here, that's now in the master bedroom. So like Dad can have a little living apartment up there. When my sister comes to visit, like we can all kind of hang out up there instead of down in the living room. So I actually have a little more room to work with. But the new stuff is back here. I think I showed this. I cleared out like all these shelves and like took a bunch of stuff to the dump. This stuff is here just temporarily because I'm not sure what to do with it. This is like a workbench area. This is old computers. This is an old LC2, which I should try to just get rid of. Here's an Apple IIgs monitor I want to keep. Apple IIgs software. Some computer-related stuff, boxes. This side I haven't really touched yet. These are empty boxes and, you know, old toys from various places I've worked. But this is the new stocking area. So you can see here, these are 25 ETP 5885 version 4 notebooks. Oh, these aren't these are not 5885s. These are 8511s or 8511s. Shit. I'm gonna relabel all of these. Oh well. And then over here we have the ETP 75 pads. These are version 4 versions. They have a whole bunch of these in Amazon, but I haven't promoted them at all. And then over here, these are like some of the other ones. This is just a box of stuff. But that's an ETP LD150 loose leaf 150 sheet. This is the version 3 though. So I'm going to either bundle these into some sort of kit or maybe just sell them at cost. Or maybe I'll just even throw them away. But there's other stock that I have out in those boxes over there. So I'm only going to use this as an assembly area just to have all the stock in place. Some of this wood I need to get rid of because when it flooded down here, these all bent and are probably not usable anymore. Which is too bad because there's some nice hardwood flooring that's there. It really kind of pisses me off actually. But so this is going to be my stockroom staging area, and if I can keep this area clear and then this area clear, I can do assembly here and just put stuff together, and maybe actually make this space a little bit more usable. There's a bunch of vintage hardware. It's up there in a little Amiga monitor. Yeah. So that's what's going on down here. Slowly it's cleaning up. I haven't even tackled like the laundry room. And there's like some of my mom's old clothes that was damaged in the flood, which I'm not sure what to do with. Like these are the ones that were like actually damaged, and I don't know if they're recoverable or should I throw them away or take them someplace. I don't know. There's just been hanging there forlornly. There is like a jacket that I should probably bring in and be dry cleaned, because it's probably what you're supposed to do with that. Everything else seemed to be alright. Just had to dry out for a few days. So we return. Hopefully we didn't lose the connection. Let me switch back to chat mode. And go back to this. So that's pretty much what's going on there. Let's see. So the last thing I wanted to talk about was just kind of getting refocused again. It's been spending the last week basically just preparing for Dad's visit and then finishing up work before that. And now I had to remember what I was doing before that. There's still a lot of cleanup work that I have to do too. I had written something down just for this, right? Didn't I? It was the right, there was that I'd actually written this down in my Quiver notebook. Let me pull that up and go to screen. Let's go full screen here. Yeah, so I had written this restart ritual. It even says start here. The reactionary restart ritual. Rewrite this every day as needed. So take a breath, take a minute to mindfully dismiss other thoughts. You know, so this is like some transgenderish thinking I was doing. I've been just writing down thoughts in here. And then the actual work session is, so I'm not in the mode to do this right now. The current focus project is the blog writing stuff. And this is where I was in that. So theoretically I know where I'm supposed to pick things up now. But what I should do is I should review this best self document. Last month with the battle between nihilism and optimism. I want a new expressive website. I was talking in the chat room earlier about having my own intelligence agency. And it occurred to me that this used to be something I used to kind of want. Like, wouldn't it be cool if I had my own intelligent agency that was like looking for stuff that I was interested in and keeping me informed with a useful brief every day about what was going on, and also gathering resources and intelligence about where these resources and trends were going. And so the agenda for my intelligence agency would be to keep me from being bored and to keep me from being unproductive and stupid. So then the new website is kind of a version of that, because I want to collect all my research and all my findings in there. And I feel very blocked not having it. In fact, like there's a lot of stuff going on that I ordinarily would have written about in my website before, but I'm finding WordPress to be, and I know I've said this a million times, but this is a little different. I found WordPress to be too distracting of an environment because of the security issues that I had to look at every day, because of all the distractions that I get from it. And the distraction isn't even the writing environment, it's just that the website itself, just by having a WordPress website on my server, that means I'm responsible for security, I'm responsible for updating the plugins, I'm responsible for all this crap that just takes me out of the writing mode. It's terrible. So if there's anything way you can avoid that, that probably is like something that would be worth doing. So the new system, since it will be my own system, it won't have any of those issues. It'll be static HTML, so there's really no security issues other than this overall server security, which is something that the hosting provider sort of takes care of. So long as I'm not don't have a lot of open services on the server, you know, then it should be fairly secure. Any zero-day exploits they'll patch that they find out about, or I guess they can't patch a 0-day, but any issues that they know about, they will be able to patch out. So that should simplify my life considerably. I won't have to worry about all this other stuff. And then just getting rid of everyone else's websites, so I don't need to worry about their websites too. You know, like I'm hosting all these websites for free for friends, and it's getting to the point where it's like you're kind of not really working out. So moving them onto at least a different server, so I don't have to worry about it. So if it blows up, then I don't have to worry about my stuff being taken out with it. I had added a new section here on being stoic. Being my best self is about, I think, the way I want to conduct myself. My strategic goals here are what I want to do for this year. Let's make some spaces here. I don't think I even need this. I'm obsessing about spacing now. Being stoic is a new thing, but to separate the emotional responses from the definition of myself. That's something that I'm learning to do a little better. So we go back to this document. Is there anything else I need to look at? I guess not. I thought there was more stuff to look at. And this is the project backlog of stuff that I want to get to, too. I just feel like there's so much stuff that is just piling up behind me and not getting anything done. Whereas in the reality, it just takes some time and some focus. But it feels like I've been so unfocused. But I think now that a lot of things are out of the way, like, Dad's here, Thanksgiving's coming up, I have to prepare to book flights for Taiwan next year, take care of my healthcare insurance. Yeah, so there's a lot of these kind of adulting things that are on my mind right now. It's keeping me from really getting into the creative space. But being able to carve out that creative space like an hour or two at a time, I don't know. It's something I've always had difficulty doing. But I guess I can keep trying to do that and try to keep a positive attitude about it. Although I am so tired of maintaining a positive attitude. Some days I just want to punch something in the face, but then I feel bad about that. Oh, we'll see. I'm actually not in that bad of a mood. It just seems like there's just so much to do, and just maintaining that spirit with it. And I think part of it is just learning not to think about it, and just concentrating on the doing. That's the stoic part I was talking about. Let me reread that again, because I don't think I really read it. That was here, I think. Oops. Separate the negative emotional response from the definition of myself. It is an aspect of myself, a primitive response to stress. It can be heard. Its issues acknowledged, but it is not in control. So in case it's a childish response, it needs to be parented accordingly. Can I divide this in a couple areas? I can probably make this into a few statements. Yeah, let me rewrite this. Remember to hear it. Hear its case. To hear your emotions and acknowledge the issues that are raised. However, remember, it is not in control, and it is not you. You at your best, not you at your core. In some cases, alright, so that's something to hold on to. The best self stuff is really more about trying to find that balance between reacting and being and playing with others, dealing with other people. So I'm still feeling kind of discombobulated these days, but I think this is good enough for today. Tomorrow's another day. It's about 8:30 p.m. I'm going to try to finish moving stuff downstairs to get the living room clean. Then I can move that table behind me out and take it to Goodwill and get rid of it. It's this gigantic heavy table that just has never fit any place. Just takes up space, is awkward. It's too big for me to move around by myself. And it's also too big to comfortably store, and I would much rather get rid of it. and replace it with something that's much lighter if I need a temporary table. I mean, that's like a good the kind of table you would see at a, I don't know, an auditorium fair. You know, someone's thing with table to hand out stuff at a baking sale or something. Anyway, that's it for today's What's Up, Dave? Kind of rambly. Thanks for watching, and I'll fill you in again tomorrow, all over again. Good night. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait for a few seconds. Blah 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 blah. I didn't even say it was the 200th episode of this, but oh well. Maybe the 201 one will be the interesting one.